What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be reacting to Joe Biden's racial tendencies on display. Let's just get right into it. Don't want to waste any time.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker
Apologize
has called
for what?
Cory Booker's called for it.
Cory should apologize. He knows better. There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
The world is different. There's too much unfinished business for us to just look backwards. We have to look to the future.
Oh, wow.
I know Joe. We know Joe. But most importantly, Joe knows us.
That's right.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. Even calls.
Okay, first off, that sounded a bit more than racially motivated, by the way, because, you know, they said that the video was implying that he is associating black people with cockroaches and stuff like that. But also, he said, I love kids sitting on my lap. Now, you know, it's okay if you have your granddaughter or whatever sitting on your lap, but to say I love kids sitting on my lap, that's a bit strange. I'm not implying anything, I'm just saying that's a bit strange. I am implying something, by the way. But still, that's a bit strange. A bit strange.
Centers. Even call centers, which rushed overseas in the hundreds of thousands. How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your credit card. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. They're going to put you all back.
These are the videos I was showing people in 2020 and they did not believe me. I showed black people these videos and they were still so delusional to the point to where they still voted for him. I showed people that, you know, all of this stuff. I showed them all of this stuff. They are still delusional to this stuff. While anybody supports him, I'm just dumbfounded that anybody supports him. I don't even understand. It is a unknown factor to me why people support him.
Back in chains.
In my opinion, we don't need white people leading the Democratic Party right now. The Democratic Party is diverse, and it should be reflected as so in our leadership.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Why does this happen? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this, Chuck, I'm not going to do this because let me just be really clear. Vice President Biden absolutely has a respect level for all people around him, for voters across this country, young people, older voters, voters of color, black people, Latino voters, indigenous, Asian American, Pacific Islander. So I'm not going to even traffic in any hypothetical conversation about if he is sensitive enough.
In my opinion, we don't need white people leading the Democratic.
First off, who cares if he's sensitive enough or not? Nobody cares about that. It's if he's actually, you know, the word racist or not, you know? That's just what it is he?
Democratic Party right now.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I think Joe Biden might be suffering from that same white entitlement and privilege and ego, where he's just that old school white male who feels like, hey, man, they need me, I don't need them, or I got them already.
Joe Biden is under fire this evening.
No, that is not white privilege. That is not some type of white privilege, Charlemagne the God, which I do not agree with his politics at all, Charlemagne. That is Democratic privilege. Democrats understand that black people, no matter what, will vote for them. Is he wrong? No, he is not wrong. Honestly, if I'm being honest, 90% of people will vote for him. How is he wrong? How is he wrong in any way? He's not wrong at all. He is not wrong. So come on. If I'm being honest, I don't see how he could not be entitled at that point.
On comments he made about working alongside segregationist senators in the past.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy, he always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done. We didn't agree on much of anything. We got things done.
I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this,
this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit.
It's that old school white male.
Wow. Chicanos. Wow.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
30 seconds or less. What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
It's that old school.
Wow. Wow. Is that something to brag about? I guess it is. I guess it's something to brag about. And keep in mind, none of these things that he's saying right now is not necessarily terrible, but compared to what Trump did, come on. People are calling Trump a racist. Compared to Biden? Come on.
Cool white male.
Choosing Joe to be my vice president was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Not the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
My son is Attorney General a year in Iraq, came back, and that's one of the things that he finds was most in need. When he was over there in Iraq for a year, people would come to him and talk about what was happening to them at home in terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were these Shylocks who took advantage of these women and men. Back from Mumbai to go meet with President.
I never even heard of that word before. Wow. See, this is what I'm saying, though. He's not the all-inclusive person that you guys think he is. And I've been saying this since 2020. I've been trying to, get black people that I know on the right track, or not even on the right track, at least know the truth, but they just refuse to acknowledge it.
President Xi in China. I stopped in Singapore to meet with a guy named Lee Kuan Yew, who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient.
What?
There's not a racist bone in my body. But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Yep. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. That is Joe Biden for you guys. He is, in fact, somebody that is not racist, apparently. Apparently, right? That's just who he is. With that being said, my name is J Dottie. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Peace.